Hello and welcome back to the last episode of Spin Your Jaw. Well, at least for 2020, thank God this year has come to an end. Some of you guys have stuck with me from way back in April when we were 4 weeks into national lockdown here in the UK, and can you believe it, that was 8 months ago. Others have joined us on the way either through YouTube or Instagram. My boxing bubble has definitely grown and I've met some incredible people through this channel. So first of all, I just wanted to shout you guys out. Your comments, thoughts, fight predictions and conversations never go unnoticed or unappreciated. Thank you all so much for tuning in whenever I put content out there. Saying that, I know I've been a bit MIA the past month or so. I was off with an operation and was out of action for a little while, but I'm back, don't worry, we're going to catch up on everything I've missed in this episode. It's been a really challenging year for, I'm going to say, all of us. We've all struggled at some point, whether that's with our mental health, physical health or financial situations. But the one thing that has brought a lot of us together is sport.
A very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
Sport is back, finally. Before I get into my favourite knockouts of 2020, I suppose we should talk about AJ, Triple G, Canelo, and do you know what, I would have spoken about Craig Richards as well, but for some reason that fight has been pulled from the internet. Seconds out, what are you doing? I'm not going to do my usual analysis though. I've actually got a co-host for today's episode. You should recognise him from my previous video, but just to jog your memory, here is my favourite clip I think I've ever edited of him.
Another good round. Knockouts on the Harding slate, but he's comes Harding, heads bumping together. It really is fights on that gum shield, not the smile.
Breathing heavy, mouth open.
Good right hand on the back.
Higher tempo.
The current English Middleweight Champion, Linus Udofia.
Is that your intro?
Oh wait, I've got to do an intro.
Yeah, go on then.
What do I have to say? Hiya.
Hi,
What do I say?
I'm a boxer. I knock people out for a living.
Hey, I'm Linus Udofia, English Middleweight Champion from Luton, and here to help Georgia.
Help, Georgia.
Yeah, because you need a co-host. You can't do this by yourself.
Do you like saying you're English middleweight champion? Does it feel nice?
It feels right. It feels like all is right with the world.
How's everything been since your fight with?
It's been a dream. It's been good. It's been all good. Everything's right, innit? I feel like I'm in the right place in my life, and everything just slots in like a key. You know, everything's just perfect.
And what's next? Any fight dates, or are we still waiting?
Nothing so far. I got offered a couple of fights. They weren't really right, so we never took them. But the fights have all been like offered for like February, March time. So we've kind of we're in the gym, keeping ready for. We're not getting ready for anything specific, but we're just making sure we are. If the call comes for March and February time, we're gonna just glide into it.
When you say they weren't right, what do you mean?
Financially, for what it was, it may not have been. A lot of things may not have been right. It may not have been good money. It may not have been the right step. It may not have been the right title. It may have just been a step sideways. It may have been so many different things, so many different variables. There was a few variables that just didn't entice us. It was more of a sideways step. I won't really go into it too much. There's some certain things I guess ain't right. What's actually available is what I'm looking for. I don't really care about opponents. I'm not here to call people out. I don't care about that.
I've always wondered, right, on the build up to a fight, when you've got two fighters that are very opinionated and it's all very kind of a lot of trash talk, do you think a lot of the rivalry is manufactured or is it genuine?
A bit of both. It's a bit of both. It depends who it is. It depends what happens. You always, in my opinion, I always say you always see if it's manufactured or if it's genuine right at the end of the fight. Like Groves Foch, they never shook hands really. They never hugged it out. They were just kind of like, yeah, fuck off.
Have you seen their clip from the studio at Sky? And they're both just shouting at each other. I don't think Froch wouldn't even look at Groves.
I haven't looked at him at all.
Is that it, Cole? You
This
follow
last
only
hour.
one punch,
I've
yeah?
not, no, you've spotted that well.
One punch is that
And you
all got
won't?
then?
No, no.
Calm down, Cole.
Final message, George?
Put this chump asleep. We'll see.
Yeah, you know what? That's how I felt sometimes with that John. I couldn't look at him because I was thinking to myself, don't engage, don't engage, don't engage, just don't engage. If you engage, you're gonna lose it. You're gonna get thrown off. Don't engage. Just that's why, you know, I really didn't want to do that head to head where we had to like sit in front of each other for like 20 minutes. I didn't want to do it.
Is it awkward?
Yeah, because I didn't really want to look at him. I was like this guy is just gonna like, I can't punch him yet. Like I get to punch him in a couple of days, but I can't punch him yet. I want to punch him now, but I have to wait, and this is like just a painful little process. I didn't want to do it.
AJ Pulev fight, I just did not enjoy.
Why?
It was boring. It wasn't entertaining, and I think since his defeat, it looks like he's lost a lot of confidence.
Yeah, understandably as well, because it wasn't a case of with a defeat like that. It wasn't a case of it was like one shot, and you know, just a lucky punch, you got caught. It was up until the round that he got put down and he was winning, and then every round after that he lost. And the way he got put away was quite devastating. And the whole experience, like in another country, in a foreign country, a devastating loss like that, it hasn't affected him because he's completely changed as a fighter. He doesn't really engage. You know what I mean? Obviously, when he gets his opponent hurt, he goes after him. But the way he fights now is a lot more clever. You know, in boxing eyes, I think it's, you know, it's nice to watch. But people that are AJ fans from the start, where they're like, oh yeah, we love it because he just goes in and knocks people out, and you know what I mean? They may not be, you know, he may have lost a few supporters in that way.
You're still undefeated, aren't you?
Yes, touch some wood.
So
Yes.
how do you think if you lost that O, you would build yourself back up?
Well, it depends on a loss, but you know, it's something that nobody ever has a loss in their head. Nobody ever walks around thinking, oh, well, I'm going to lose at one point. But you know, in my opinion, you've got to be open to it. You have to understand it happens. People lose all the time. Do you know what I mean? People lose all the time. And it's one of those where I wouldn't know how I'd react because it's all a learning process. I don't know how I react until it happens. I like to think it'd be like one of those situations where it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I turn around and I become an even better, you know what I mean, a complete beast. But who knows? Who knows? It's one of those things that if it happens, it happens, and I deal with it if it happens.
I don't think I'd even be able to get my leg over that top rope.
Yeah, I normally...
Why did you do that?
I normally go for the middle or the third. I never ever go for the top one. That's just asking for a problem.
So this bit made me really sad when he was in the corner and he's still protecting himself, even though AJ's not there.
In finish. I think it was a mature performance, but it's not the
usual AJ where,
you know, we're too slicey and dicey and reading into it too much. I don't know.
What did you think about Dubois taking the knee?
Oh, this is divided a lot of opinions, and I'm gonna just say it for what it is. Personally, we all have our own opinion, especially as fighters as well, because it was the fighters that, you know, it was the fighters that are like, you know, that were, you know, calling him a quitter and things like that. And you know, there's people out there that I know that were like, you know, if, you know, people calling him a quitter, the next time somebody dies in the ring because they went on too long, you can't say anything about it. And I think to myself, like, you know, everyone's got a job to do, yeah? Like, everyone's got a job to do. And this is just my opinion and nobody else's. Everyone's got a job to do. I've been in situations where I've been blind in one eye in a fight. And it's, my coaches got me out of it. Not pulled the fight out, but he stopped it. He's brought it back. But my only point is he shouldn't have had to make that decision himself. His corner or the ringside doctor should have had to a few rounds before. And personally, obviously putting yourself in his shoes, my pride, I don't think would let me. I just don't think it would. I have to be there to say something like that. But I've been in situations where I've had one arm for a couple of rounds. I can't move my arm, and I'm like, oh my God, like, what's going on? Couldn't see out of one eye, and I'm just got to adapt and deal with it. I get it. It's different. It's this and that. Save yourself to fight another day. But personally, I don't think my pride could let me willingly take a knee, look at the ref, and decide I'm not. And if you really put it in terms of, oh no, he made the right decision and he saved himself for another day, and we're talking about quitting and things like that, quitting's very cutthroat. It's very, how can I say it? It's very subjective to who is saying it. But at the end of the day, he willingly took the knee. He looked at the ref, let the ref count to 10. And then in my eyes, he did not want to continue. He made a choice to not keep fighting anymore. He quit the fight. Rightly or wrongly, hindsight is a hell of a thing. I just think his corner and the ringside doctors are there for a reason, and they're the ones that should pull him out. They should have pulled him out earlier. I'm not saying he shouldn't have done it himself. I'm just saying they should have pulled him out earlier. He shouldn't have been the one to make that decision.
No. How do you think he's going to pull himself back from that? Because he's
young. He's 20.
Him now.
He's 23. I think he's 23. He's very young. He's incredibly young. He'll pull himself back as long as he's managed right. He'll pull himself back, and as long as he's promoted right, he'll pull himself right back out of it. He just needs to now have the right kind of fights. I think for his mental as well, because now he's shown the whole division and the whole world that there is a chink there. There's a way of getting to him, and again, it's going to be an uphill battle, but it's the game we're in. You know what I mean?
Because the fight he had before Joyce, Ricardo Schneider's, was the most pointless fight I think I've ever watched in my life. I don't know why it was set up.
You know what? I did say this to my friend. My friend was like, "Oh, when do you reckon Joe Joyce is gonna? When do you reckon Daniel Dubois is gonna take Joe Joyce out?" And I went, "Look, if we're even gonna talk about resumes, if we're gonna talk about resumes, Joe Joyce's resume is better. He's fought better opponents. And amateurs, everyone's like, oh, does it matter? Does it not in the pro? Does it matter? Who knows? But the pedigree 100% leads with Joyce. Like, I don't know why he's the underdog. I don't know why he's a heavy underdog. I don't know why it's an upset. You know what I mean? I don't. It's like that was as likely to happen as Dubois knocking him out. And I went, this is what happens when everybody you hit goes down. Now you find someone that's actually, you hit them, they're not going anywhere, and they still implementing their game plan. And now it's like he was like after the fourth round, he was like a fish out of water. He was like, oh, I don't know how to deal with this. Taking the same shot for the next 6 rounds, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you're watching it, and you're like, that jab's doing wonders, and you're like, I don't get why his corner's not like it. But obviously, Joe Joyce, you have to give him credit for implementing such a game plan. But there's a lot of things they need to do. I'm not going to be out here and say, oh, he needs a new corner, he needs a new this. I think they just need to rebuild properly. I can't tell you how they need to do it. I don't know him, but they do need to rebuild, and I think they can. He's so young. He's so young. He can rebuild back. It's just how confident is it going to be like a Kell Brook situation where he's had such a damaging injury that kind of just defines his career now?
Out of interest, what do you think about Anthony Yarde?
Oh, okay. What is the question? Well, how do I think about it?
Wait, I didn't finish my question actually. So he came out the other day and said he needs to have a chat with Tunde, his management, his coaches, everybody in his team. And my kind of feelings are he wouldn't have said that in an interview if changes weren't going to be made. So I guess my question is, do you think he should get rid of Tunde?
First of all, saying that, we're all talking about it. It could just be that. It could just be to get everyone talking about him. It could just be that. You know, secondly, personally, I do think some changes need to be made. Not only because of the Lyndon Arthur fight, but when he fought Kovalev, massive step up, massive credit for them to do it, to go out there. And, you know, they did get some success. It wasn't a lot, but they did get some success. And I feel like they should have come away with so much from that fight. You know what I mean? They fought at world level. They fought a world level operator, and he showed what experience will do to youth. You know, and I feel like they should have come away from that. And the Lyndon Arthur fight just didn't. It was like they never learned anything. It was like they didn't learn anything. And I'm not going to be out here and say, oh yeah, he needs to get rid of Tunde. He needs to get rid of his coaches. I think he needs to add to his team. I can only, because I like Tunde. I like all, you know what I mean? I respect their thing. I respect where they come from and how far they've come. But I can only say that so much when you turn around and in the corner, it's like, yo, like, what should I do? You know, he's peppering me with his jab, and your reply is lions in the camp. And it's like, and all I can say is put myself in them shoes. If I'm sat down, like my last fight, if I sat down, and I remember I sat down, and I think it was in the 8th round, and I turned around and I went to Terry. I was like, "Oh, what did he hit me with? How did he hit me? What did he hit me with?" And he goes, "Oh, I hit you with an uppercut." He went like right hook to your body and then he hit you with an uppercut, and that was all he hit you with. But what you need to do is when he goes there, don't lean to your right. That's where you get caught with it. You led to your right and then he just caught you with an uppercut. Next time, get out of there or stay tall and grab him. Don't. You know what I mean? He told me he didn't go lines in the camp or let's get it. Let's get. You know what I mean? Like, look, I don't mean to dig anyone out, but it just seems like there was so much more they should have been able to offer, and they didn't.
Yeah.
So I think there is changes. It doesn't mean people need to go. It just means there may need to be additions to the team.
Yeah, definitely.
With this fight, what did you expect? What was you expecting?
This fight?
Yeah.
Canelo's one of those fighters that he's got such a legacy. So for me, I have Canelo up there with Lomachenko. Like, they are fighters that can have a loss, and I'm never ever going to think anything else of them because I know that they're at that level of fighting. I didn't doubt that Canelo wouldn't win, but I was hoping for Callum to win because
of course, I was GB, innit? GB. You can't, you know, I did want Callum to win because I don't know. I feel like Smith, he's no wrong. He's got some good names on his roster. At the same time, I still don't feel like for someone that held all the belts at middleweight, super middleweight, I don't feel like he was as recognised and as known or built up the publicity, especially after the World Boxing Super Series and things. I don't think he. You know, you go to someone that doesn't watch Matchroom or follow the Sky Boxing, and you say, "Who's Callum Smith?" They probably wouldn't know who he is. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like, you know, if he'd done that, obviously he would have cemented his legacy a lot more than he really has. Don't get me wrong, he's a world champion. He probably comes back, and he comes back for, you know, I don't think losing to arguably one of the best fighters of this generation is a bad thing.
no, definitely not.
That, especially a career finish. Ain't going to be a career finisher.
No.
But I really was rooting for Callum Smith. But I knew it was going to be a tall order, no matter the, you know, advantages that he had.
I was quite surprised at the massive height difference. I didn't realise it was that much. And this...
Do you know what, as well? Go on.
Well, I was going to say, DAZN's given him 5'9" when we know he's like 5'7". They've been nice to him there.
No, I was just saying, I was just thinking, like I said, advantages that Callum Smith had. But I think... I don't think you know, being that much taller than your opponent is necessarily an advantage, because I've fought and sparred people that are much taller than me and sparred people that are much shorter than me.
How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot.
Okay. So what's the tallest you sparred?
Oh, what's his name? Jake Ball, I think. He's about 6'4".
Okay.
And I don't think that's necessarily an advantage, like being so much taller. Like if you're a good mover and you can move your head, you got the advantage. And like who did I spar? He was a lot smaller than me, and he was just moving me around. And I was thinking to myself, how can I not hit this guy? He's like so small, like not like he was ridiculously, but he was smaller. And I was thinking to myself, I can't find him. He's just not here. And oh, that was it. Junior Witter. I sparred Junior Witter in Fuerteventura, and he was so hard to hit. And I was like, I don't understand what is going on. I don't understand how I'm so much bigger than him. I don't get how. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't necessarily mean it's an advantage. So, and Canelo, his head movement, he's learned so much from his fight with Floyd Mayweather, and his head movement was just incredible in this fight. Smith was really tucking up because he knew, like, I can't hit this guy, and he's walking me down, and I can't find a way. And, you know, it gets to the point where I've kind of got to be on the back foot and kind of react to whatever he's doing.
Because but it was by the 12th round, wasn't it, that he was kind of kept looking up at the clock, and you could see it in his face. He didn't want to be there anymore. He just wanted it to be done with. And
I feel that's a fair comment. See what I mean? Like, look, like, you know, Callum Smith arguably has the advantages by being the taller man, but he's getting walked down, and he can't hit Canelo. And Canelo is really good at throwing unorthodox shots, as well as parry and stuff. He's very good with the parries, the blocks. He's very good at that, and moving his head in general. And it's you know, it's something that we got to appreciate while it's here, you know.
He's just so powerful.
And we're very short, stocky. He's wide at the weight. He's like, you know what I mean? He's very filled out, you know. Like a lot of people were saying they expected more of a fight from Callum Smith. And I think to myself, you know, like, it's easy to say that, but unless you're the one in there and you actually see what he's doing, and you know, you put up a better fight. I'm not saying you don't have an opinion, but you can't just say, oh, you know, I've seen you do really good against Groves. Are you going to do great against Canelo? You can't. You know, stars make fights, and I think Canelo's. I can't see a lot of people beating him. I can see Billy Joe giving him a lot of trouble, but I can't. It's hard to see him being beaten. You know.
I don't think Billy Joe will beat Canelo, to be honest. I'm seeing a lot of.
I only say that because you got to say his styles. You know, like, obviously Canelo was incredibly young when he fought Mayweather, but it was just ring craft and IQ. It was just Canelo couldn't land punches, you know, like. And I think, you know, the one man that will be able to make him miss will be Billy Joe, but I just don't. It's one of those. It's a stylistic fight. You've got to see it to actually, you know, have any real place.
Yeah, definitely.
And there was a thing where Callum Smith, he thinking like a 9th round, he like pulled his arm out and was like, yeah, you like hurt my arm.
Bicep, wasn't it? Was it detached?
I don't know, but I think that's what Canelo was aiming for. He was hitting his arms.
Yeah. I remember seeing a picture of it afterwards, and his bicep was really, really swollen. And
it looked like he's had a lot of time in lockdown. Yeah, I don't think, you know what I mean, a lot of people saying, oh, Callum Smith was he fought a certain kind of way, he didn't fight like himself. I'm like, well, would you really, you know, arguably you're fighting against the best fighter in the world and you can't hit him.
I don't think he did a bad job at all.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did a bad job at all. But again, remember, like, the whole boxing circuit, the whole circuit of like the internet and Twitter, no matter if you're in public eye in any way, there's always going to be someone that has something to say about you, and it normally won't be nice.
It was like, I remember when Loma lost, and everybody was just saying how like shit of a fighter he was. And you know, like, but that's not true. And
Yeah, that's you know what I mean, this man
he's not
isn't.
a bad boxer. Like it wasn't his fight, but he's an incredible boxer.
Yeah, and it was one of those where, like, if you actually watch the fight, you watch it properly, the fight, it could have been his. He just didn't start fast enough. It's
No.
as simple as that. Like, he just didn't start fast enough. When I watched it the first time, I thought,
What's he doing?
Loma won that. And then I watched it back and I went, oh no, that was a draw. And I watched it back and I went, yeah, Lopez won.
It just confused me when did he start picking up? 6th round?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand that at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they were trying to figure out what his power actually was. Maybe that's just the only explanation. I can't see why he would have coasted and throw away the first 6 rounds, you know? Yeah, a lot of things that a lot of people don't see is they think, oh yeah, you know, Canelo Smith is just on the back foot. He's just. I'm thinking, look, he cuts off the ring. He's not letting Smith out. He's not letting him do much. He's cutting off. He's hitting arms. He's hitting elbows. He's hitting hips. He's hitting everywhere he can. It's good pressure fighting. It's good. He's learned a lot from Triple G as well. Because Triple G's that's his game. Pardon?
So his defense is just so clean and nice to watch.
You see, you know what he is like. You know, he's one of those like, and you know what I mean. I didn't really want to bring this up, but he is the complete fighter. Even though, you know, the whole drug scandal has been kind of thrown under the carpet, he is a complete fighter. Pardon?
There was a drug scandal.
He got caught on Clone Brutal twice, I think. Contaminated Mexican meat. You know what I don't get about it is, well, you know, we're all in this to, the fact that we can all hurt each other, you know, like, where are you? What are you doing? You know, but and the other side of it is a lot of fighters that get caught always seem to know what happened. Like, oh, I've been caught for a performance. Oh, you know what it was? Is when I had hay fever. I took nasal spray. That's why I got caught. And you're like, what? No, don't know about that. Oh, it's because I ate loads of contaminated meat. That's what it was. And you're like, it's the fact that you know. I'm thinking something's dodgy.
Sure. 9th round, I think, was maybe Smith's hardest round.
Yeah. What do you call it?
He's taken some, he's just taken a beating.
Yeah, I think Canelo kind of goes into about 3rd or 4th gear, doesn't he, in them rounds?
He just doesn't get tired.
Yeah.
He's like one of those little
Duracell batteries.
That's it. I was thinking of the word. I was going to say something else.
I'm glad you didn't.
Me too.
Do you know what? You got to say fair play to Callum Smith for trying to implement a game plan, trying to keep Canelo off, and actually trying to, because a lot of people would have kind of just given up and coasted. And I don't care what anyone says. Callum Smith didn't start, you know, coasting until the last round. He was just kind of like, you know what, let's just get out of here. You know what I mean? But, you know, fair play to him for keeping it up. You know, from the first few rounds, you kind of think, oh, I think this is going to go one way. And you know, fair play to him for, you know, boxing his heart out. You know, I think, you know, you will, no matter what situation you're in, you know, it's a fight, things can change. And he gave everything until the last 20 seconds of the fight, to be honest. He's
got some grit.
Yeah, he's got, you know what I mean, and mental strength as well. It's hard to, you know, be in there losing every round. And I think I gave him like 2 or 3 rounds, but it's still hard in there to know that you're not winning, you know, like you're not winning this fight, you know.
I suppose, what do you do when you're in that position and you're in that mindset? How do you not think that and carry on?
Your corner's a massive help. They tell you what to do and what else to go through to change your situation, but also it's, you know what I mean, you got to dig deep in yourself, and everyone's pool is different. Some people, you know, need a slap in the face. Some people look back at hard times and, you know, but, you know, fair play to him. You know what I mean? I felt like he dug in and did what he had to do. This fight, I didn't actually, I watched, but it ended up being a bit, no disrespect to Triple G or Camille, but it ended up being one of those fights where it was like, you know what, it's just background noise.
So this is what,
Yeah.
Triple G's 21st defense?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's actually more, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't actually know.
When do you think he'll retire?
How old is he now? 39?
38.
I reckon he's got 3 more years.
Yeah, it's quite
3-4 more. And I'm talking like at world level.
Mm.
He'd be all right for another 3 years, and then chinks start to show, and then it gets kind of dangerous, you know, like because you're talking about a 41 to 42-year-old going up against 21, 25, 23-year-olds, you know, like
it's just a different league, isn't it?
no, don't get me wrong, skills are permanent, but age starts to show, you know, like that was a beautiful shot. That was a lovely left hook, because he looked like he was stepping to the side, but he actually threw it out of nowhere, and he didn't even see it coming. He actually dropped his hands thinking it was going downstairs. It's actually pretty good, really good left hook, that. You know what I mean? He's still, give his opponent credit. The opponent didn't do a lot of things wrong. I think Triple G was just too different league.
Definitely.
And it's good to see Triple G still really competitive and, you know, able to really show why he's still a world champion, because, you know, he's still sharp. He's still very strong. He looks like he's learning under the new coach. I love that he when he jabs, he like parries the other person's jab. It's really good to see, to be fair. I like watching all these people. I like nicking little things that they do.
Nicking little things. I'll watch out for it.
Always. That's how you learn. Nick all of it, make it yours. What's your how long do you reckon?
Jesus.
How long do you reckon Triple G will go on for?
What, in his career?
Yeah.
I think if he's going to keep his legacy, I think maybe 3 or 4 fights, and then call it a day, leave on a high.
Yeah.
I think that's how I'd want to go out.
Yeah, but he may not want to go out at all. He may be one of those where he's like, yeah, I'm still young, I'm still young. You know, he might be one of those where he's like, I'm still young, and then he just gets old one night. He just gets old.
Oh.
And you hate to see that. We all hate to see that, but maybe that might be what it is. Again, good fight. Showed a lot from Triple G, but then I guess, you know, you think like the quality of opponent, no disrespect to his opponent, but we're not talking about a Charlo, we're not talking about Canelo, we're not talking about Billy Joe here. We're talking about a level below that, and what Triple G will look like against someone on that level. He's yet to see. I still think he would do well, and it'll just be harder. It'll be like Daniel Jacobs, you know. It'll be very difficult. It'll be a very difficult fight. But yeah, I think that was very good to see. You learn a lot watching a fight like that.
Definitely. So my last little section, I'm going to spring it on you a little bit. What has been your favourite knockouts of 2020? Honestly, we've got the same knockouts.
Mine.
Slipping outside the jab, he's making Harding miss, but then he's not making him pay. He's not following back with the counter. Good right hand.
Great shot from Linus Udofia.
Number 1, I'll go for Zelfa Barrett Donovan.
Good choice.
That's pretty good. I'm not saying that's number 1, but that's my first one.
It was very enjoyable.
Yeah, it was one of those, like, do you know how someone goes, oh, you know, like a left hook? That was like a perfect left hook knockout. If you wanted to show someone the perfect left hook knockout, you show him that. It was just, you don't get better than that. Like I'm hard pressed to find a better left hook knockout than that, you know? Like, yeah, that one. Shannon Courtney, it's not a knockout though, is it?
Do you mean Rachel Ball?
Rachel Ball, but it wasn't a knockout.
Knockdown, but it wasn't, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. It doesn't count. It doesn't count.
But yeah, we enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that very. Oh, I remember when I saw that, I jumped up like, oh my god! Povetkin, Dillian White, one of my favorites.
I was.
You know. Do you know what? Yeah, he was at my fight because he was Pester's manager.
Yeah.
When he was shouting like, "Oh, he's cheating, ref! He's cheating," about me, I almost said, "How's Povetkin?" I was almost shouted like, "How are you still awake from what Povetkin did to you?" But I was like, you know what? No, no you're better than that, Linus. Just.
I personally, I really like Dillian White.
AJ's was pretty good. Dalton Smith was pretty good. And this is cheating, but the Ted Cheeseman and Egerton fight was just something else. It wasn't there weren't no knockouts, but it was just, that's an honourable mention. I've got to say something about that. That was just, like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't what you want to show, like, oh, this is, you know, the hit and not get hit aspect of boxing, but it was a good fight. Yeah, it was a good fight. Like,
I love it when they do slow motion shots.
That's a lovely check hook. That's a lovely check hook. I'm looking forward to him fighting Luke Campbell.
Are you? Who do you think is going to win?
I don't know. I think Campbell's got enough. I think Campbell's got enough to beat him, but youth might get it. You know, who knows? Campbell isn't old by any stretch, but you know, we'll see. See how good he really is. How good Ryan Garcia really is. But here's your boy.
I really thought doing.
Do you know what I didn't like about this fight? The commentators made it like Povetkin was absolutely out of the fight. The rounds were very competitive. The rounds were very competitive.
When he goes down and his legs are stiff and his body's just bloop.
It's just the way he hits the ground, like he was out as soon as the shot hit him. He was sleeping as soon as the shot hit him. I
think this is like my favourite fight of 2020.
Yeah, scrapping it.
Oh.
Good as well. Santa Cruz throws 3 right hands and like they're the same shot, and unfortunately his opponent read him. And
he was doing quite well before he got knocked out.
Yeah, he was. He throws 3. And then it's just, somebody tweeted, this is why Twitter is a horrible place when you lose a fight. Somebody, especially like that, somebody tweeted, like, legend has it he's still sleeping, and you're like, oh, come on, man, why are you got to do that? He was
out for such a long time.
It was scary.
Yeah, I was surprised he got up and walked himself off, and he was smiling. Yeah.
Character there, isn't it? It shows a lot of character.
Yeah, bless him. We've already seen this one, but this is included.
He looked like he was still in good shape. Like, you know, before he's tried to finish opponents and he hasn't, and he looked like he's blown himself.
Yeah.
And in this one, he looked like he still had loads in the tank, and it was, you know, it's a very mature performance, and you know, it looked good. I think the ref could have stopped it.
Yeah.
I think the ref could have stopped it before he took the last straight right hand.
AJ Fury fight, which I personally can't see happening this year.
Yeah.
Who are you backing?
Fury. Fury all day. I've counted Fury out since he fought. Since before he fought Klitschko, and when he beat Klitschko, in the way he did, just to adapt, box, stick to his game plan, and just, you know, just bring a different look to everything. He made a real fan out of me. Before I was never a fan of Fury, and I realized how good of a boxer he was that night, and I went, you know what, actually this guy will not be beaten for a very long time.
No.
And then when he beat Wilder, especially the first time, I still think he beat him then. And then when he beat Wilder the second time, I went, look, when he got up, I went, look, no, but I don't think anybody that, unless they catch him as clean as they did with Wilder did, no, I don't think anybody knocks him out. I don't think anybody outboxes him. You know, and I'll say it now. I think he outboxes Joshua. I actually predicted after he beat Wilder. I think he stops Joshua late.
Sure. I put a story on after AJ's fight last time, just saying if him and Fury fight, Fury will win. And the amount of DMs I had telling me I was delusional.
Yeah. It's a game of opinions. Everyone's got theirs, and you gotta just respect it. You can't. One thing I don't like is when you're like, oh, I think this happened, and then someone like is really like horrible to you, and oh no, you know, I like, dude, just relax. It's my opinion. I'm allowed to say what I think, you know, like, but it's how it is. That's the world we live in. Social media is a hell of a thing. Social media is a place where someone can say what they want and not be punched in the face for it. So it's fine. Donna Vern.
I really like him.
He lost. I think he lost. What round did he get stopped in? The 5th or 7th or something like that.
I think the 7th.
Yeah, Zelfa Barrett only won like 2 rounds at this point. That was a lovely left hook.
I want to watch it again. I just want to see him go down. I love a knockout.
Who doesn't? That's what we watch combat sports for. Like, we watch MMA to see knockouts, chokes, submissions, all that.
That's all I've got for you.
that's all I've got for you. This has been very enjoyable. I have been Linus Udofia, your English champion, and with my host Georgia.
Thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you for having me on. I'm really glad we did this. I feel honoured that you picked me.
Finally.
See you later.
Thank you all so much for joining me once again. I hope you've enjoyed this last episode of 2020. It's been a wild year. It's been a crazy ride. So thank you for joining me and being on this journey with me as well. It's nice. I feel like I've got internet friends. So here's to a healthy, happy, fingers crossed, COVID-free 2021. And I don't have a drink. Well, this is the only drink I have, but if I had another drink, I would drink to that, but I'm going to drink to this instead. So thanks for joining me.